Hello. Bl'Artagnan here with Final Battle, the Jagron Story Lufenia Plus. We're bringing a team of Golbez, Vayne, and Bartz. Before we get into it, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps support the channel, helps it grow, and leave a comment down below with your thoughts on the fight. I'd like to hear from you. This is actually going to be my last video for a little while. I'm going on a bit of a holiday vacation, so I'll be seeing you probably sometime next week. And wish you a happy holiday in the meantime. So what do we got going on here? This fight, the name of the game with this this orb is stacked debuffs. We need something like a Kurasame, like a Jack, like an X-Death, like a Jagron, at 2 stacks or more. So we drop the Kurasame base call on the little ad in order to maximize the amount of time that A has doesn't reset to 1. This is that 1% or triple BT plus team that I've been enjoying running. I have a lot of fun with it. It's going to be a little bit less stompy than it normally is, which is kind of weird because this is not a difficult fight. The bosses really aren't very threatening. They have a recast that deals a bunch of damage, but it doesn't really do anything beyond that. And other than that, it mostly just brave attacks the entire time. Not super threatening. The ads on the side really just don't do a whole lot. I guess they hit reasonably hard with the brave attack, so if you can't shave them down, it'll be rough, but if you're not bringing a team that can do some kind of brave shaving, what are you doing? So, I found through trial and error that just kind of blowing these guys up with Vayne and Cloud of Darkness doesn't quite work. The orb can't be raced just so with that team. So instead, we're going to be kind of pacing ourselves to maybe the 80% mark, give or take, just long enough that we can kind of get the free damage in there, get the orb to reset, you know, all the good stuff. And just take advantage of the fact that the bosses don't really do shit. I'm pretty sure the boss is pretty tanky, though. I haven't looked at their stats, but the defense feels pretty darn high. Even with, like, all sorts of BT effects on the field and stuff, the brave hits are not going to be capping. We're going to be relying pretty heavily on HP damage to be actually dealing damage to these guys. You'll see there with Vayne spamming his skill 1, which you normally never touch, just to make sure that we don't run out of turns. You can see here, once again, skill 1, because otherwise that orb would have gone off. A little touchy with Vayne. not really a fight for him, but there are plenty of good options that aren't Vayne that you can bring here that'll actually give you that good value. Golbez here actually is going to be serving a purpose. This isn't just, he's not just here for the memes. Obviously, Bartz and Vayne work together really well because, you know, that's kind of just their... Bartz works well with everyone, and Vayne loves riding strong effects. But Golbez is actually going to be serving a purpose here. I was originally going to do the Gabron thing where I have him switch out for Cloud of Darkness, and he just, you know, is a walking debuff call. But once as I said, I found out that I actually needed to give these guys a few turns, including a turn to use their recast. And so that's where Golbez comes in, giving us a sweet BT effect we can rock, some strong damage on his turns, and, well, I mean, you know, Brave Freeze. Still just trying to give the orb plenty of room so that it can tick up. We're not really ready to go into pure damage mode now. The turn count is 80, we're not worried about the turn count, we're really just concerned about making sure the orb doesn't go off once we start going crazy. So there we go. Tank the recast. Thanks, Golbez. You've done your job here. Decently strong LD attack. And with that being done, we're going to go ahead and Kurasame it up. Get that weakness damage. And that's it for Golbez. There we go. Cloud of Darkness and Vayne. Match made in heaven here. Really a power couple as far as I'm concerned. Because Vayne can start from here. He can apply the Jack debuff, and we can really just go to town on this guy. The orb, weirdly enough, does tick up at the 80 and 50% thresholds. I've been told there are actually other ways to tick it up too, beyond just getting into the thresholds or the normal debuff stuff. We've seen some interesting interactions that I've heard of, but I don't actually know the details of how those work. So we're going to give it one more tick up. Let's Kurasame go up. That's cool. There we go. Taking advantage of that extra space that we just bought ourselves to go really hard on them. Alright. Since the orb is going to be going up by +8 or so, we're hoping within the next action or two to push it below 50% just to maximize the reset it'll do, but unfortunately Vayne's damage is capped just a bit lower than I'd like. There we go. Okay, below 50%, there we are. This is a little bit less comfortable than I was hoping for, but we'll make it work. +12, that's fine. Bring on the Vayne burst. Now that we've reset the orb the last time we were going to be able to reset it, it's time to maximize our damage per action, and that means Vayne burst effect while Vayne is in his BT phase is going to be the way to go here. Excuse me. I don't know if you caught the live stream this past week. I gave my thoughts on Jagron, who is pretty doo-doo from my initial evaluations. Haven't gotten a chance to see him in action yet, but I can't say my expectations are too high. Not unlike his ceiling, which also feels quite low. But I'm not the only one who'll say something like that. Basically, just he's able to hit very high Brave damage numbers, but if the cap isn't there, if he's not doing multiple dumps, if he doesn't have some kind of raised HP ceiling on his Brave burst effect, it's like, what is he doing? Because there's only so much HP damage you can do, no matter how much Brave damage you're doing, you know? Now, here we go, we're getting him below 30. We have 4 actions left on the orb, getting a little bit anxious about that, so we're going to be really relying heavily on that Vayne burst phase. And we're counting carefully to figure out at what point we should go into it. We have 3 actions left, so we're going to go ahead and use one last free force of will. We have 4 turns left on the Vayne burst effect. Time to go into the burst phase. So, yeah, we're getting to a point where we really need to force this damage here. And you'll see, Vayne isn't even capping damage on his follow-ups and stuff. I do think this boss is tankier than some of the ones we've seen in terms of just like how much Brave resistance or defense or whatever they have. Even with our usual defense down and Brave damage up effects rolling. I guess that was to sell Jagron's rainbows or whatever. That being said, it's not so tanky that we can't just, kill it. That said, it is getting kind of tight. We are going to have to be careful about how we approach this. We got 1 turn after Vayne comes out of this burst finisher. And here we go. Alright, not bad for a late game burst phase, but Cloud of Darkness is almost gone. Bartz is going to get an action, then Golbez is going to come back in. And like I said, Golbez actually is pretty helpful here. He helped us tank that recast earlier, which bought us time on the orb. And he also has strong damage per action, because look at this. Still, late in the fight, dealing 400,000 damage on a single action. That's... I'll take it. He's, we have that burst effect that we can ride. It's... he's doing his job here, is all I can say about this fella, this Golbez fella. I'm just happy he's able to contribute. Alright, 1 more turn after this. Can Vayne do it? It's looking dicey. There we go. Alright, there we go. The Jagron Lufenia Plus. That was pretty easy. 3 greens. Very, very good team building by me. Anyway, I'm going to be off for the rest of the week, so I will see you when we get back. Happy holidays. Thanks for watching, and take care. Adios.